In this week's episode, I've had enough of Sonic.
And I have some Sonic news, plus also Valve is stepping up production with Steam Deck.
And Nintendo announced a load of new retro-inspired games. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Barry, and this is episode 59 of the Retro Gaming Dads podcast, the podcast for everything retro and retro-inspired.
Well,
you knew I had to talk about Sonic again.
No, it's honestly, it comes for the past few weeks, and not got anything against it. It's just you're insufferable when you just constantly going on about it.
Well, you know, I'm talking about a new retro-inspired games. The whole point of this podcast. This is what people listen to the podcast for.
No, I don't want to listen to about you just going on about how much you love Sonic.
Oh, but no, unfortunately, this week I'm going to be talking about some of the issues with Sonic Origins.
Oh, well, that is sad, but before we get on to that, you found some little gems, didn't you, today?
I did, so I've got some pickups. First of all, something completely out of after playing Sonic Origins, running through the same 4 Sonic the Hedgehog games, you know, I thought I'll get something different. So I've picked up Sonic Classics collections containing the exact same 4 games on the Nintendo DS. And I started playing through them, and they're okay. Screen's a bit squished. I find it a bit difficult to see what's coming up sometimes, but not a bad little bundle, actually. And something which really surprised me when I was in our local WH Smith, while looking for Retro Gamer magazine, because obviously I needed to get it.
Yeah, because obviously Sonic
it's
was
got
on the
Sonic
front
Origins on it. Of course I needed to get it.
Yeah.
I actually found a brand new Amiga magazine.
Geez, wait, so that, as in, that's been left there for so long, or that's still been released?
No, it's been published now. It says 2022 on it. It doesn't say what month it's from. And it's issue 13, so it's not a one-off. This is a home PC that's been out of production for a quarter of a century.
Jeez.
And there's a brand new magazine for it. I looked through it and thought, that looks like it says Amiga. That does say Amiga.
And obviously you had to buy it.
Yeah, a bit pricey. It was £6 for that one. Magazines are so expensive.
Yeah. Well, and also that would be quite a niche sort of market, I'd reckon.
I think both of those magazines, to be honest, are fairly niche.
Retro gaming I can get behind, but, you know, retro gaming computer, and it's about the Amiga, definitely very niche.
It won't be long until we'll be going in. There'll be a brand new Nintendo Power, Mean Machine Sega, Amiga addict. There'll be probably an Amstrad Atari addict or something like that. Actually, to be honest, there probably is no my luck. Couldn't believe it, so I bought it and then realised how expensive magazines are now. £12.50 for 2 magazines.
But I say, no, magazines have always been expensive.
I remember getting CVG, Computer for Video Games, for 95 pence per issue.
All right, okay. My question is, how long ago was that?
When was Ridge Racer Type 4 out? On the original PlayStation.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I very specifically remember that being on one of the covers. Probably talking like 1999-ish, I reckon.
But, so, if we speak about what we've been playing, we haven't been playing much. We've just been playing some Aliens again this week. We're still enjoying that. Still a lot of fun.
I can't remember if I mentioned this last one, but I've 100%ed Sonic Origins now.
Yeah,
you that's done and dusted. I say I start playing through it on the DS, and we've played some Aliens. That's about it.
Go on then. So, whilst we're on Sonic, let's get the insufferable section out of the way so we can carry on with the rest of the podcast. We've got a lot to speak about, by the way, today. So
I'll remember this when you start banging on about Pokemon later in the year.
I have never, and I don't think I will ever go on as much as you have about Sonic.
There's a lot to talk about this game. After completing it, initial impressions were quite good. I did notice some things that did feel off, some of which you actually saw when you came round.
Oh, yeah.
Winged Fortress Zone, when just randomly platforms go, nah, I'm not coming out.
Yeah.
And I'd just fall to me death.
At first, it was just 1 that came out, and then afterwards, when you ran it again, 2 didn't come out.
Yeah, 2 didn't come out. The others were going in and out, but 2 of them just refused to come out. And then 3rd time round, it just worked as it should have. Some of the control things, like when you're on the Tornado, the little biplane, and I'm like, I'm sure I remember it controlling differently, being able to tell it to go up and down at will. This you can't. There's quite a lot of issues with Sonic 3 and Knuckles as well. More so,
Yeah.
I'd probably say, than Sonic 2. And the biggest one in Sonic 2 is if Tails goes off screen, he doesn't come back on the screen. You just hear him somewhere else in the stage, jumping up and down continuously, and it drives you mad. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles, just off the top of my head, some of the things I could think of is Sandopolis Zone. There's bits where you go through these loops and then you go onto like this elasticated spring and it launches you off, but it doesn't launch you off in the right direction, or it doesn't launch you at the right point on the elasticated part. And quite often you'll clip the ceiling, so you'll lose all momentum, which means that you've then got to go back a little bit and go through the loop again and try again.
But there's a lot of discrepancies you found, haven't you, against some of the older versions of the games? Some of the boss fights, and then just some of the with the spikes. You said, if you touch the top corner, edge of the spikes, you die.
If you go up to some of the spikes in Sonic, you can touch the spikes from the side. They're not harmful. It's when you jump on them. You can go to them, stand next to them, and jump straight up. So not onto them, just jump straight up next to them, and you'll get hit. Some of the other things, just graphical issues, like in Marble Garden Zone, there's a boss, and what it does is it drills through the floor, and loads of debris falls down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
But then you go outside, and it's still raining down for the entirety of the stage. It's only supposed to happen in this one little room or for this small section, and it just continuously happens. It's just bits like that. It just makes it feel unpolished. A lot of effort and a lot of love was given to the game because they've added extra animations in, I noticed. One of the infamous bits is Carnival Night Zone. There's these barrels where you've got to like pump them up and down, and Sonic like spins round on them. In the original one, he had some animation. He now has extra animation for when you're going down or up, whether you're looking up or down. And Super Sonic has his own animations on the barrels as well.
Okay.
So that was a really nice inclusion. What wasn't a nice inclusion, though, was unfortunately they got rid of Carnival Night's soundtrack, which I wasn't a big fan of. But the worst part is they got rid of Ice Cap Zone and Launch Base Zone's music. And I played these and I was like, what's this? No.
What letdown? I'm disappointed.
I have heard the tracks before. They're actually the tracks from the PC version of the game, again, that came out in like late 90s, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're bad or I just really don't like them because I've got used to the other tracks. Ice Cap Zone is one of the best soundtracks in any 2D Sonic. It's fantastic. It's full of energy, especially when you start stage and you're snowboarding down this mountain. It really gets you pumped up for the stage coming across. The new one, it's meh. That's the best I can say about it, to be honest. Now, they have been, as far as I'm aware, they have been like redone in higher quality, and they sound good, but they're not a touch.
It's not the same as what they used to be.
Honestly, I can't be impartial on that. I don't know if it's the nostalgia, which I'm kind of holding on to from the old tracks, or if they are just not as good melodies as the original ones.
Well, I know you've enjoyed it. You said you've enjoyed it, except from some of these issues, which you can kind of look past.
Nothing's groundbreaking. It just takes the shine off it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's not me. It's not just me like moaning about this game. Even one of the guys who worked on it has actually come out and said what they submitted wasn't necessarily what made it into the game, and they weren't happy with the fact that they couldn't get an extension on the time. I think this game coming out on Sonic's anniversary was kind of like a nice thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's Sonic's anniversary. But I would definitely have preferred them to have delayed this till, I don't know, August, September.
Yeah.
And just ironed out some of these issues.
I say, well, hopefully they might come out with some updates. So they might release some updates to fix and patch them. I know it's a bit late. I know you've 100%ed it, but I know you'll play through it again.
Stealth, the member of staff who took to Twitter from Headcanon to kind of not vent but explain the situation, did come out and say that they haven't been approached by Sega to do any updates to the game, which doesn't necessarily mean there won't be any updates, but definitely means that there's none planned immediately.
Which is a shame, because you'd have hoped that, yes, I know they released it on the 31st anniversary and it was a good thing. You'd have hoped they would at least try to sort of fix some of the issues that they had.
Yeah. Well, some people have pointed out that a lot of the tracks, especially for Knuckles Chaotix that are in it, are all named wrong.
All right.
And I've spotted some of them have spell mistakes in them.
All right. So you just kind of just ruins it.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, that's not how you spell it, is it? I've not noticed the ones that were named wrong because I'm not familiar with the Knuckles Chaotix. But some people have said that a lot of the names are just jumbled up, which, again, it's
a small thing, but it's enough to make you feel a bit sad.
Some parts of the game appear really sloppy, and then some parts you can see where they've put extra effort in, and it's just hopefully they will update it, they will sort it out, and perhaps once they have got these patches and just fix some of these issues, maybe we'll get a physical release perhaps.
Okay, so Sonic Origins, it's kind of, there is some things that we wish to be addressed, but decent game in the end. You've completed 100% of it, which I'm not surprised you did it so quickly at all.
If anyone hasn't played them and enjoyed Sonic Mania, it's definitely worth picking up. It's definitely worth going through and playing them. Nothing ruins the game. It just, as I keep saying, it just takes the shine off it a little bit, that's all.
Yes. So alongside with Sonic Origins, Sonic Frontiers, we've actually got a new trailer for that, haven't we?
Yeah, and it actually makes the game look better.
It looks better, but I still see PSO2.
Yes. It does definitely look like PSO. I'm sure it's running the same engine or something.
What I don't get is the dash. Why does he not dash when he dashes as a ball rather than just like on his feet?
Because he can run super fast. He doesn't have to dash as a ball.
But I think it's cooler.
In all fairness, if you think about it, it's probably better for him to dash using his legs than roll, because then he can stop quicker.
Yeah.
It seems to have a very unique combat system rather than just jump on the head and bop all the enemies.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, in the anime series, obviously he does fight, he does grind, he does kick and punch, I guess. The air blast waves he can create.
What, in this demo where he fires out those? Yeah, I get what you mean.
Bit strange. They're like Sonic Blasts, aren't they? He's called Sonic, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, so Shadow actually does something similar to that in some of the games. I think they're called something like Chaos Spears or something. But it's not something that you really see Sonic doing.
No. Like, I do get when he runs around and creates vortex, lifts them up and then hit him. I get that sort of thing. But the fact he could jump in the end and launch these like blades of air at enemies is a bit odd.
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up regardless, even if it's the worst game in the world. I'll still be picking it up.
This is one I would like to pick up. I would like it to be a multiplayer game. Well, yeah, that's true.
No, I don't think it's a multiplayer game. It doesn't look like it'd be the type of game to suit multiplayer, to be honest.
I know, but you know me, I like to play multiplayer games.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to play a bad multiplayer game, would you?
No, that's true.
I'd rather a good single-player game than a bad game with multiplayer shoehorned into it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think this game is going to be either of those two.
No.
But don't get me wrong, I'd love it to get 10 out of 10, Metacritic, best Sonic game ever, but I don't think it will be.
Well, the way it looks, the way it plays, maybe when we pick it up, we play it, it's different.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I will get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Sonic Forces, everyone slates that. Everyone hates it. I really enjoyed it. I hated the story to it, but the actual gameplay, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And failing that, 3D Sonic games usually have pretty decent music.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Pushing on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give nothing to us. Into each other we put our trust. Standing united after the fight. Alone we will never be.
Fist bump, still my guilty pleasure.
I still quite like. I didn't play Sonic Forces, but I enjoyed Unleashed.
Yeah, Unleashed is a great game, only for the fact that you've got to do those bloody werehog parts.
Yes.
Again, that's one thing. When Unleashed came out, it was such a massive step up over Sonic 06.
Yeah.
In terms of Sonic's gameplay, but then they put the werehog part, and you're like, I didn't buy a Sonic game to be trundling around as this slow hog and beating things up and combos. No, I just want to like blast through the stage as fast as possible.
So with the trailer also showed linear stage is like a cyberspace sort of stage.
Yeah, so I believe these might be to get some sort of collectible, maybe the Chaos Emeralds, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe them some sort of like dungeons, I guess you go into.
Yeah, I think you access them, as you say, as like a dungeon. So I don't think it's
Yeah.
a dungeon in the sense of like it's underground or contained, but I think
Like you say, like
you'll go
pillar or
to like a
something you
point and teleport off to it.
Yeah.
I would imagine you probably like get sucked into it or something with it being called cyberspace.
Again, like PSO2 with the cocoons that got around.
Yeah, exactly like the
It's like-
cocoons or like the dungeons in Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
I assume that's how they're going to play out, and at least the one that I can think of off the top of my head looked like Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I'm starting to get fed up seeing Green Hill Zone. Chuck something else in. Hilltop Zone, Emerald Hill Zone.
Well, obviously, they do the Green Hill Zone because it's the very first zone you go into, and everyone's so used to the first one. That everyone
I
always
know.
But I know what you mean. It's a bit.
The first time I saw Green Hill Zone in Sonic Adventure 2, I was like, this is amazing. This is the best inclusion as a bonus ever. And then every single Sonic game since has probably had some form of Green Hill in it.
Not only that, you've got Sonic toys that it kind of has a Green Hill Zone. Super Smash.
I don't mind it so
Green
much
Hill
with the
Zone,
toys.
stuff like that.
I don't mind it so much with the toys, but Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Death Egg. Almost every game has some variation of that. And maybe a casino stage thrown in good measure just for the hell of it.
Okay, so are you done with Sonic now? Is that it? Can we kind of draw a line?
Until next episode, yeah. Until next episode.
No, I want a line for it. At least one episode, maybe two.
I promise nothing.
Oh, whatever. Well, talk about promises. Valve has made announcements, and they're promising that they will be doubling the production of the Steam Decks.
Yeah, so I might get my next Steam Deck in less than a year. It took my first one to get it.
So it's a good step up.
Yeah.
The Steam Decks have been a massive boom in the handheld sort of industry.
With enthusiasts, definitely. But I think the bigger thing they've done is they've kind of spurred on a lot of these manufacturers to make their own handheld PCs, essentially.
Yeah.
I do think that is probably going to be quite a good thing for just PC manufacturers in general. A lot of people buy a laptop nowadays rather than desktop.
Yeah. Well, just because a laptop can act as a desktop as itself, and it's just so much cheaper at times.
See, personally, I don't like laptops. I'm a desktop person. But these seem to be bought by a lot of people not as the computer, even though a lot of them, they run Windows. It can be plugged into a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. They're being sold as more like companion devices for a lot of people. Because I think if anyone's savvy enough to actually know how to get the most out of these devices, they're probably already, I wouldn't say a power user of computers, but they're almost certainly going to have their own computer or laptop already.
Well, just think about how many different apps you can have installed onto it, how many different, like you said, this is a mini PC, but the amount of people that have already, how quickly did you get the Xbox app put onto? How quickly did you have other games?
I only had the device 3 days. In 3 days, I was streaming through PyPacker and Xbox Game Cloud.
Yeah. So the limitations on this, I don't think there is many limitations to the Steam Deck. They haven't put restrictions down. They haven't locked it down. They've basically left it and just said, look, here you go. Here's your mini PC. Do what you want with it within.
It's definitely a vessel for people to. It's definitely a vessel to drive people to the Steam store, though.
Yes.
And had I kept mine, or when I repurchase another one in the future, I think I'll keep Steam OS on it. I don't think I'll be sticking Windows on it.
Well, I can't see why not. Since if you can use the Xbox app through Steam, Xbox streaming through Steam OS, why not?
Yeah.
It's all there. I reckon that you'll be able to play a lot more Steam games than you did before because it's a handheld. You can play your hands.
Yeah.
My
in all
question
fairness,
is, how
I've just got to stick loads of ROMs on it. Sorry, what was that?
How do you think Deathwing would play?
Deathwing, I reckon it'll play all right on that, actually.
I reckon it would too. I was thinking.
I used to play it with an Xbox controller, so it seems perfectly fitted
Yeah, that's
to
what I
it.
was thinking. Because I fancy playing that again.
Whether or not it runs under Proton, that's the main issue.
Yeah, how smooth it is.
I reckon it'll be fine. I think, again, because it's only a 720p screen and it is relatively small, you can probably get away with like low, medium settings on a lot of games and them still look good.
Yeah, but if you've ordered a Steam Deck and is giving you between now and near the time as the delivery date, you might actually get it in, now and half the end of the time. They've promised that they will start doubling their shipment every week as well as production.
Yeah, and that was as of last week as well. So they've already started doubling the amount of emails they're sending out each week.
So I think it's a good step in the right direction for them. And
yeah.
I don't think this is going to really slow down for a bit. We'll do at some point, but I think it'll take a bit before it slows down.
It's reassuring to see that they are comfortable in doubling the production.
Yeah, they're putting a bit more effort into it.
Hopefully mine might come sooner rather than later. I think mine's looking at November, I think it was.
I think it's supposed to get a lot sooner.
Really quickly, before we go on to a little bit of bad news with gaming, there's some fantastic news that a lot of streamers and speedrunners have actually got together for the Summer Games Done Quick event and raised over $3 million for charity. Now, the charity in particular is Doctors Without Borders, which is a fantastic charity that supplies a lot of medical assistance to a lot of, some of the most vulnerable people around the world. And this is the largest total that the event has ever managed to raise in the summer.
That is insane. So you're telling me that, well, how much slating do video games get for being not a benefit?
Oh, yeah. They're ruining the world. They're killing brain cells and they're spoiling our youth.
Killing brain cells, yet people speedrun and earned all this money.
Exactly. This shows that a hobby, something people enjoy, can actually be used to raise money for something that is really worthwhile.
But to me, that total of $3 million is absolutely amazing. But the fact that someone did a donation of $238,310 blew my mind. At first, when I read it, I thought it was just $238. No, $238,000.
So I think the average donation was $25.
It's all going towards benefit to help someone out. And believe it or not, people do things for charity to help. We did a charity event once, didn't we? We did streaming for 24 hours, which actually earned a couple £100 for.
I think we got about 150 or 160 pounds, if I remember right.
Yeah,
and that was for Macmillan.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I'll have to do it again, even if it's just an excuse to play video games for 24 hours.
I still remember, what was it? Me and you, after the 24 hours ended, we still carried on playing until later on, and then got up the next morning and went to got Subway first in the morning.
Yeah. I think most of that stream was just us playing Smash Brothers by the end, weren't it?
Yeah, it was.
Smash Brothers 4 on the Wii U.
And then fell asleep in the background.
Yeah. But he wasn't. He was just resting his eyes.
Go on. What's the sad news you mentioned?
Right. Unfortunately, the sad news is Ubisoft is ending online services for 15 titles.
Oh. This sucks. Some of these titles I'm actually quite sad about.
Yeah. Most of these are for older generation consoles, so the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and PC. And there's a couple of Wii U titles sprinkled in between them. So the first one is Anno 2070. So you'll no longer be able to play multiplayer or link your Uplay account.
Assassin's Creed 2, 3, and Brotherhood. So that'll be a multiplayer, link account, and DLC and online features. They were good games, don't get me wrong, but I'll be surprised if some people still play these three games because there's so many other Assassin's Creed that have come out since these.
Oh, yeah, well, there's so many. You actually missed an Assassin's Creed off that list. Yeah.
I just looked down, I was like, hang on a second, there's one more.
Yeah, so 4 Assassin's Creed titles all lose practically all online functionality.
Now, the next game I remember fondly.
Driver San Francisco?
Yeah, I remember
You're
Driver.
probably the only person that remembers it fondly then.
I quite enjoyed it.
Is this the one where you could possess different cars? Is it this Driver, or was that a different one? Oh, right, must have been a different
this
one.
was just It's just called driving. We went driving cars. But I was quite young when I played this, though, in all fairness.
Right. I remember playing the original Driver and Driver 2 on the original PS1.
Yeah.
I was blown away. Driver 2, you could get out the car and run around. It was like 3D Grand Theft Auto, but without guns.
It was like a try to Grand Theft Auto, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I think that probably came afterwards.
This was aimed at more the younger audience, whereas Grand Theft Auto was not.
Yeah.
Even if the parents still bought it for their kids.
Yeah. And then complained, "Ooh, video games too violent."
Yeah, oh, that's the thing. Parents complain about violence in video games, yet they'll happily go and buy, I don't know, their 12-year-old kid Call of Duty, which is an 18 or stuff like that. It's like, well, hang on a second.
Yeah. What do you mean, this Mortal Kombat where you forcibly eject someone's head and spine from the rest of the body isn't suitable for my child? It's a toy, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. Love.
See that bit on the front where it says 18?
Jimmy means you just follow that direction.
That suggests you need to be over that age. Far Cry 3 doesn't actually seem that old to me.
No, it doesn't at all. But there's actually been quite a few Far Cry since then, so...
Well, yeah, at least two of them. Far Cry 3, so multiplayer and DLC, which, you know what that means? The fantastic Blood Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that DLC for Far Cry 3? So we're losing that.
Yeah, it was. I never played it, but I do remember seeing it.
Oh, that was great. Even if only for the tutorial at the beginning, where it gives you a forced tutorial.
Loading basic tutorial batch 101 from Military Navigation for Idiots. Auto-holstering weapons for silent approach.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
And it's like, to run, hold the left analog stick. Running is like walking, but faster.
Running is like walking, only faster.
It's like, yeah, I know all this. Yeah, so Far Cry losing multiplayer and DLC. Quite an old one, and probably one of the first games out on the 360. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Future Soldier? No, I remember playing this loads. I played this tons. So I wouldn't revisit it, but I do remember this game quite a bit, and it was quite a good game. I enjoyed it.
I have a feeling this is probably the kind of game that's best not to revisit because it probably will never live up to what you remember it as. So you're losing multiplayer with this title, and you will not be able to play the single player game while you're connected to the internet.
Okay. There's not been any Ghost Recon or Split Whistle games for quite a while from Tom Clancy, has there?
Yeah, Ghost Recon, yeah, Breakpoint and Wildlands.
Yes, sorry, I forgot about
Is that what it was called?
They don't have the same feel as like Future Soldier though now.
No, that was very much like a small squad-based third-person shooter.
Get back on track. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. I remember this game. So again, we're losing multiplayer link and DLC. It was quite a good game to go through. It's quite a decent single-player game, not going to lie.
Rayman Legends. So this one's the older version on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii U. You will no longer be able to link your Uplay account to that one. At least you're not losing the ability to play the game, because me and Kerry love that game. It's a fantastic title.
Yeah, I think we still got it on the Xbox because the boys enjoy that game.
I think you probably got it as Games with Gold at one point as well.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. So Silent Hunter 5 is just DLC. I don't know this game. This is one of the few I don't know.
Space Junkies, which is a VR title. You just won't be able to play it. It's an online only game, so once they take down the online services, you will not be able to play that title at all.
Now the next one, Splinter Cell Blacklist. That was the last Splinter game that came out, wasn't it?
It was, and it was a fantastic game.
Absolutely amazing. Again, so you'd lose multiplayer and online features, but the multiplayer is PC only.
Yeah, the way it was written, it looked like you'll not be able to play multiplayer on PC, but doesn't specify that you'll lose access to multiplayer on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if they're just being ambiguous, and you are, or whether it's only PC that's losing multiplayer.
I would love them to bring a Splinter Cell game to the Xbox One, or a remastered version.
Yeah, remastered version of Blacklist or Pandora tomorrow. That'd be fantastic.
Double Agent. I love Double Agent.
Oh, I hate that. It's my least favourite in the entire series. That and Conviction.
I agree. I wasn't a fan of Conviction, but I loved Double Agent.
The last title on this one is Zombie U on the Wii U, and that's losing the ability to link your Uplay account.
It's a bit sad, but obviously nothing lasts forever. The servers need to be shut down at some point.
This shows the issue with a digital-only future, especially some of these games, which I'm assuming in the case of Ghost Recon Future Soldier is maybe some sort of DRM, where you can't play it while connected to the internet. You have to go offline to be able to play the single-player portion. Well, before we continue, as always, if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do by leaving us a review on your favourite podcasting app. Or if you would like to support us further, you can visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as £1 per month. You'll receive early, ad-free versions of the podcast, and we'll even give you a shout-out in the next episode.
Talk about shout-outs, we've not got one, we've got two to give. So, first of all, thank you, Short Gizmo, sticking around as always. We do appreciate it. Bobby Socks, like the name, and appreciates you now also joining us as well. So, welcome to the Patreon, Bobby Socks.
I don't know why, but with a name like that, I just imagine like this sock puppet with these googly eyes.
That'll be
Bobby Socks.
We'll get a message from him, and it will literally just be like Hamper talking to us.
Unsubbed.
Yeah. But,
no,
they a sock.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
And I feel like we've got a lot to talk about now about Nintendo.
Yeah,
Direct.
should we actually go into the main part of this podcast?
Yeah. Oh, they thought that was the main part. No. We barely touched the surface.
So just after the last episode, Nintendo dropped a Nintendo Mini Direct.
My question is, why did he always do this just after we do a podcast?
I don't know.
It just seems to be the case.
This one, though, did actually have quite a few retro remakes or inspired titles.
Yeah, and it's a lot that people will be familiar with as well.
The first one that came up, which I was kind of expecting but kind of disappointed it was this particular one, was Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. So these are kind of turn-based strategy card collecting RPGs. I've only ever played a couple of them on the Game Boy Advance, and I think I played one on the DS if I remember right.
Okay.
They're pretty decent. You'd like them because it's not quite turn-based. You get to position yourself and move around this grid as and when you like to avoid attacks and get into better positions. This will contain 10 different titles in this collection.
Basically, if you get this, it's going to be playing for quite a while.
Yes, unless you buy it digitally, in which case they'll go split it in two. So there'll be two releases with 5 titles in each one. The good games, but I'll be honest, I was really hoping they were going to say it was the Mega Man Legends Legacy Collection, because I am really looking forward to getting that game again. It'll come eventually.
One day, if they're releasing this, then surely they must be releasing it at some point, and then just keep your expectations too high.
There's quite a bit of an oddity with the release of this title.
Yeah, I saw. So, unfortunately, Xbox One and Series owners are getting missed out here. So it's coming on to everything else except from the One and Series. It's a bit of a shame, especially because the last titles came to the Xbox.
Well, yeah, I've got the Mega Man Legacy Collection and the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection on my Xbox.
It seems to be there's a lot of collections that are coming out that aren't going to the Xbox, because we had Monster Boy and we had another one as well, didn't we? Recently we spoke about that were coming to the Switch and the PlayStation, just no Xbox.
They are snubbing Xbox users, which is a shame because I've bought the previous collections on the Xbox.
Yeah, screw you guys. I won't buy it at all then.
Yeah, and I really hope that if I buy this physically on the Switch, it's not like some of the other titles, like the Mega Man Legacy Collection. You only had like one game on the cartridge and you had to download the other games or something. Well, that's no good. That's not why you buy a cartridge.
Unnecessary. But then it also means if you want to trade it back in, if you don't want it, want to trade it back in, well, it's kind of pointless.
Well, got one game. So I'll probably give this one a miss. Not being funny, I've got the ROMs for it. So
I'm not going to be funny. You've got enough to play through on the Switch, let alone adding another one to it.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
Yeah.
Saying that, actually, I've still got my Wonder Boy Anniversary Collection to come later in the year.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually realise I'd pre-ordered another game through trying to think who this one was through. I think it was through Signature Edition Games, these ones.
Yeah.
I also ordered, at the same time, Clockwork Aquario.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're not sending it to me until bloody Wonder Boy comes out.
How long ago did you order this?
Oh, a couple of months ago, I think.
And when was it released?
A couple of months ago, I think.
Yeah, Wonder Boy's not going to be released until later on this year.
Yeah, I think it's December. I'm not even sure if it will be December. That might even be a placeholder date. But I'm not getting the game until then.
What, they're refusing to post it out?
No, they won't send it separately.
Oh, that's just flipping stupid.
I know.
In all fairness,
Oh, well.
at least it gives you time to play through all the other games you've got by the time it comes. You'll be nowhere near ready for it. But
Yeah, it might let me play through one or two of them. I think I also have a Clonoa on order, and I'm sure that's out in July as well.
let's see. But carrying on, Portal Companion
Yes.
Collection is coming to the Switch. What a game! I absolutely love the Portal games.
Yeah. I must admit, I've not played Portal 2 in multiplayer, though.
Have you not? We're gonna
Nope.
have to play it. It must be somewhere, and we will have to play it together.
Completed the first Portal. I've played
Yeah.
a chunk of the single player of Portal 2, but I've not played any of the multiplayer.
Well, okay, that surprised me because I've completed both of them.
I have no friends to play with.
Especially because the other day we were chatting at work, and I said about, I would have chosen a cake, and you literally referenced Portal, said cake is a lie.
Yeah. What was that about?
That was it. We was in a meeting and they were choosing what symbol to have, and they chose a coffee cup. And I said,
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
chosen
that
a
was
cake.
it, weren't it, in Teams? Yeah. Cake is a lie.
So I think it's actually pretty good priced. So you will get both the games for £13.49. It's not a
Yeah.
bad price for both those games.
No, that's
and
fantastic.
It's hours of fun. If you love a puzzle game, especially, definitely want to pick up. I absolutely love puzzle games, and this is a fantastic game.
It is. And the amount of satisfaction, if you've not played this game, the amount of satisfaction that you get from finally figuring out some of these puzzles is immense.
Just such a simple little thing to do, but I quite often would like to just put a portal on the floor, portal on the ceiling, and just literally just fly through it, and you just get faster and faster. The momentum goes, just flinging through this portals. But yeah, no, some of the puzzles are difficult, but as Barry said, the satisfaction coming to the end of it is like, yes, ain't been to me. Now, the original Portal is quickly approaching 15 years old.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realise it was this old. I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, talking about old games, which is what we do here on the podcast, have you heard that someone has managed to find that this Portal collection has the majority of Half-Life 2 hidden away in its code?
No.
So, data miners and a hacker has actually managed to get part of Half-Life 2 up and running. Now, it's missing a lot of...
What, through the game?
Yeah, it's just there. The data's on the cartridge for it or on the download. So this guy has actually managed to play parts of Half-Life 2. Now, it is missing things like some animation and collision, and certain parts of the game just cause it to crash outright. But do you think they'll actually release Half-Life 2 on the Switch? Because these games are running on the Half-Life 2 engine.
Half-Life 2 was a great game. One of my favourite collections on the 360 was the Orange Box collection, which had Portal, Half-Life 2,
Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress, and there's another one, I think. I can't remember what it was.
See, that's where I played Portal, and that's the only one I played, Portal.
That's where I played Portal, and then I got Portal 2 after that, when that came out. But I would be very interested to see Half-Life 2.
Moving on to some old games that are getting a second wind. Pac-Man World, which isn't a game I would have thought would ever come back as a remaster.
No, I didn't think it did it that well, did it?
I don't know how well it done, but when you think of Pac-Man, it's not the game most people think of.
No, not at all. You just think of the original arcade game.
So this is a 3D platformer, and it's getting a complete remake. It's not just like remaster, it's entirely remade.
Okay.
And it's coming to Nintendo Switch, and this launches 26th of August.
I'll say not long at all.
Nope. And if you want it physical, you can get it physical as well as digital.
I don't think I'll pick this up.
To be honest, I don't think I will. I'm not a big Namco fan. He says after saying he's getting Clonoa later in the month.
Not one for me, however, if you like Pac-Man. The next one we've got is Live Alive. Live Alive is a remake of the classic JRPG by Square Enix. There is a demo out with the first full 3 stages, which will then transfer over to the full game, quite like what Project Triangle did.
So this is quite a sizable demo from what I'm aware of. I have actually downloaded it, but I haven't had chance to play it like most other stuff on the Switch.
You talked about Switch and games you haven't got to play, but in all fairness, you need to stop buying all these games.
I will one day. I'm just squirreling them away from when I retire. Although the way the economy's going, I'll never actually reach retirement age. They'll just keep pushing it back and back.
You actually haven't got that long to play through the demo, ready for the game to be released, because the game comes out on the 22nd of this month.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've done with Triangle Strategy. I actually started playing it and then just rolled my save from the demo over into the main game. I'll have to have a go with this demo. I say I've already downloaded it. I just haven't had a chance to play it. Maybe this weekend I'll give it a go. This one, though, I haven't actually pre-ordered, so...
So what's the point of playing the demo?
No pressure. See if I want it. And if I do, I'll try and see if it ever goes cheap. Although a lot of these games just seem to be going up and up in price astronomically at the moment.
They do. It's just the economy at the minute.
Yeah. So another one. We got excited about this last episode for the Xbox. And I must admit this is a bit of a dampener on it. But Persona is heading to the Switch with same 3 titles, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable.
In all fairness, I think we can still feel happy about this and still give them a screw you because it's coming to Game Pass. So
Yeah, we don't have to pay for it.
stuff you guys.
Yeah.
It's coming to Game Pass there, but it's coming to Nintendo, so it sounds like everyone's kind of gigging on the Persona.
Is this the end of the Persona series being a PlayStation, maybe not necessarily a hardware pusher for them, but, you know, a big reason to own a PlayStation?
Maybe Persona's kind of going, why not, shed love to other consoles because they know they can get more out of it. Because I know, other than first-party games, I get why first-party games are console exclusive, but if you're not first party, I don't understand why you wouldn't, unless they
It's a guarantee amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Especially if
Because of
Microsoft
the
comes
self-pay.
here and go, we'll give you X amount to have this as a Game Pass launch for the next 3 months or something.
Yeah,
You're definitely going to get that much, plus a little slice of the Game Pass subscription pie. And people who haven't got it and want it will still probably buy the game anyway.
yes.
Yeah, it's good it's coming. It's just
Yes.
not as exciting for Xbox owners now.
But I said, just be excited it's coming to Game Pass. Just stick with that one.
Yeah, choice is always a good option, whether you want to play it on your fantastic 4K Xbox Series X or your little handheld Nintendo Switch, so you can play it on the, well, let's face it, play on the low.
Yeah.
So the first title coming out will be Persona 5 Royal, which will be available on the 21st of October this year.
Yeah, so not long at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're finding out the last bit of news. It's taking a while, but
Yeah.
we've got in here. So, the Mega Drive Mini 2. So, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, and we have some new titles coming. So, they've announced 11 additional titles coming out. A lot of these are ones that I am familiar with, for once, believe it or not. It's not often it happens, but it happens.
So this is 11 new titles that have been announced. So this is still currently Japanese exclusive, the Mega Drive Mini 2.
Yep.
And the titles are...
So, first of all, we have the Jet Fighting Simulator, Afterburner 2, which is for the Mega Drive.
We have the Lull Yourself to Sleep Columns 3, also for the Mega Drive.
Next up, we have Mega Panel, which is also from the Mega Drive.
Nadia, The Secret of the Blue Water for the Mega Drive.
Night Striker for the Mega CD. So different.
Then Ninja Warriors, also for the Mega CD.
Outrun for the Mega Drive. Now, that is a great little game.
Puzzle and Action, Itchy Dance R for the Mega Drive.
Did you have to take a minute to double check how to say that one? Splatterhouse 2 for the Mega Drive as well.
Star Mobile, I actually don't know where this comes from. I don't
Just got a
recognize
question
it
mark.
at all. Yes, it's a mystery game.
Mystery game. If one of you knows, please let us know. And then lastly, we also have Starblade for the Mega CD.
Some of these games, I'll be honest, I don't know. I feel like this selection is probably a bit more Japanese focused than the first lot of games that they
Yeah.
announced. But there's still some pretty decent games here. Nadia and the Secret of the Blue Water is a game I've never seen before, but looks quite interesting. So I'd be interested to try that. Again, this is currently Japanese exclusive. So if it does come to the West, there's a chance that some of these games won't be included or might be substituted with different titles.
Out of the list of these, I think Afterburner 2 and Outrun would definitely be on there. I'll be surprised if they didn't make it across.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in Japanese, there's a very low barrier to entry for them.
Yeah.
Again, the Secret of Blue Water, it looks a bit more like a bit more involved text-wise. I can't see them spending time and resources to translate that to English.
No, but again, this isn't the full list still. So once we've got any more, we will let you guys know.
Yeah, we're still not. I don't even think we're halfway.
No, we're not. Isn't there 50?
Yeah, 50. I think they've announced 22, if I remember right. I think it was 11 in the first slot as well.
Yeah. So as soon as we've got any more, we'll let you know. Keep you updated. And I know it's only coming to Japanese for now, but I'm sure it might make an appearance across the West.
Anyone who really wants one as well, you can actually order the previous version of this through Amazon from Amazon Japan, and they will ship it abroad. So I would imagine they're going to do the exact same thing with this.
How much does shipping cost, though?
I don't think it was like exorbitant.
From Japan, it's not normally too bad, is it?
I reckon your shipping would probably be 20, and then you'd have to pay like another 20 in import duty once it got here.
Yeah. We've now come to the end of our podcast.
Well, the episode, not the entire podcast. We will be back. Don't worry about that.
Sorry. That's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. We have been the Retro Gamer Dads, and we will catch you next time. It's been a fun evening. So we've come to the episode.
Closer.
Well, we've come to the end of the. Well, after all that,
Too close.
we finally come to the best. Shut up. Well, after all that, we finally come to the end of the podcast. Oh, fed's sake. Let's just make it short and quick. We've come to the end of this episode.
That's what she said.
Immature little thing.